Welcome to Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle. Today our first guest is Heather Belle Murphy, a health, life and love coach, and our topic is, does love paradise exist? Welcome Heather to the show, and please tell me, does love paradise exist or is it just a fantasy?
I think absolutely love paradise can exist, and I think it depends on, really importantly, of course there's several factors, but really importantly, creating a safe space for love communication, particularly when we come across love bumps. So things like, what I've really found when I've been coaching men, and I've come across this several times working with different male clients of different ages, where we may have all, I think a lot of women, we've had that experience where a man is angry and we can't work out why they're angry, and it's actually because they're experiencing what's really under it is vulnerability, and anger often caps feeling vulnerable for men, particularly in the past, you know, where a man may have been instilled with growing up, be a brave boy, put a brave face on it, stop crying. So what do men do then if they've had that kind of learning and that cap put on their emotional expression? They become angry. So this is a really super skill for women to embody, which is to, when a love bump arises, not take it personally. Listen. We don't have to respond, or we can respond in a, let me think about that, darling. You know, give me some time to think, give me some time to process it. Is this actually pertaining to us or to me? Or is that person just simply feeling vulnerable and being a bit, you know, volatile at that time? So the way you communicate, and I think this comes into my rules of engagement, so that love doesn't become a battleground, you know, where everybody ends up being injured and bloody. So knowing what your rules of engagement are, like even if I bring something to you and it may be a bit bumpy, I'm still going to try and say it gently, you know, and still try and be kind. Now, of course, if somebody has just hit their thumb with a hammer and they're going to explode, well, just let them explode. And of course, people tend to say uncomfortable things when they're in that heightened emotional state, when they're hungry, angry, lonely, tired, HALT, great acronym. So when that happens, you tend to just, you know, if your partner is Vesuvius, just let them blow. Let them blow off steam. In fact, when my partner has classically been a bottler, bless him, so I know that he's feeling particularly safe with me because he comes and he blows his stack to me. Now, I can choose my response because I'm grown up and I'm also responsible, you know, for my response. So if I'm ever a bit offhanded or I raise my voice, even though I feel that I may be right, I apologize because I've spoken out of turn. As we practice, and this is a skill like anything else, as we practice it, we tend to get better at it. And so, again, it's part of that skill set for Love Paradise, a long, sustainable, juicy, intimate love. And I can tell it works because he wants to bring me more and more things.
Could you please elaborate on what a love bump is for our viewers?
There's a big difference between love handles and love bumps. Both are great things, both are great opportunities to grow. Love bumps arise as a natural consequence of, you know, two people coming up close and personal together for a long time. And what you'll actually find, like any challenge, just like the tide going out, it's actually negotiating the love bumps when they arise. Those bumpy times, you know, when we're vulnerable, when we're angry, when we might be going through a time of loss, you know, a time of grieving. And so we may not be showing up with our best selves in relationships. Now hopefully that's the time when one of us is going to step up and be there as the rock of support for the other person. And my partner and I joke about this, where it's like you're on that drive and you can't quite find out where you're going. And he hates that because that's part of his masculine thing, and he's an amazing driver, navigator of Melbourne. And so when we can't find somewhere, he will tend to get a bit tense. And I know that's my time to just zip it. If he wants my help, he'll ask for it. And I just sit back and I just enjoy the ride until he says, darling, can you get the Melways out? Or darling, can you Google map this? Or I think, can you check that the address that we have is correct? Now, we're both very clear about our love paradise destination because we both love being in it, and we want to make that as sustainable as possible. So, of course, we follow our rules of engagement, particularly when it comes to love bumps or when one of us is in a bit of a vulnerable situation.
Well, thank you for that. And do you have any tips for our viewers?
Yes, absolutely. Of course, loving starts with us. If we don't know how to be kind and generous and loving and supporting of ourselves, we're going to find that tricky in relationship. For women, it's necessary that we become the fountain of love and we self-nurture. And that means that in loving ourselves, in honouring ourselves, in respecting ourselves, we're not going to run into that problem of overgiving. And overgiving is a sure way to end up being taken for granted. And also, and this is a real kicker, it tends to kill his inspired masculinity, which is where he wants to keep giving to us, and having us receive those gifts. So that's a really, really big thing. And the other thing is, of course, heal, eat, love, pray to stay balanced in our daily life, every day in every way.
Thank you so much, Heather. If anyone wants more information on Heather Belle Murphy or our topic today, does love paradise exist? You can find her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. Now please stay with us and we'll be right back after the break.
After the break, Yoga for Wellbeing instructor and author Pauline Rooney is talking about back pain and yoga. Stay tuned. Welcome back, and now we have Pauline Rooney back with us, our Yoga for Wellbeing instructor and author. And the topic today we're covering in this series is back pain. Welcome, Pauline.
Thanks.
And so what type of back pain are we talking about today?
We're talking, Linda, mainly about the general back pain, the lower back, neck and shoulders, sitting too long, standing incorrectly, all of those types of things. We're certainly not talking about surgery type back pain. We're talking the general aches and pains in the back.
So you said standing incorrectly. So people think about we're sitting incorrectly, but what do you mean? What does standing incorrect?
We need to be standing upright, the ball and the heel of the foot being in contact, no dropping of the hip, no folding of the arms, because that all pushes us out of alignment. The other thing is we tend to walk with our phone on our shoulder, shoulder up, that type of thing, and that can certainly give us a great deal of neck and back pain, carrying through the whole body really.
Well, that's interesting. And how can yoga then help with back pain?
Oh, yoga is a dream come true if you have a back pain. The posture of yoga is designed to lengthen, strengthen and recharge the mind and the body. Sometimes, Linda, our mind overthinks and we're not doing things quite correctly. So if I were to sit back or something like that, even sit like that, that would cause a discomfort in our back. Yoga teaches us then to be very strong in our abdominals, in the shoulders back and down, all those types of things that really assist in keeping the structure strong. And I often think if we could learn to work with our skeletal body, everything else would fall into alignment. And with the postures, they really are designed to strengthen and lengthen. However, we hear so much about many types of yoga, and that is fantastic. With back pain and all those sorts of things, it's like anything else, Linda. You need to choose the person and the studio and the style of yoga that's going to work for you. Everybody's different. So find the person that you click with, and you'll find that they will integrate posture, meditation, mind focus and breathing, because we need all of these things to come together to create the well-being in us mentally, physically, and we'll say spiritually. So it's a great help.
And how would you say then yoga is different to other ways of helping back pain?
Yoga is unique because we cover the whole body. If I'm looking at somebody and I see a dropped hip, I'm more inclined to look at where they're going on in the shoulders, so that we can align and straighten that up so that it will move the hip, and then we strengthen through the posture that area of the body so that everything is strengthened to come back into alignment. So it's very unique, and the mind, I believe, plays equal, if you like, importance as the posture. And it oxygenates, it gives a blood flow. It does all those types of things that sends energy through our bodies, and it's like a great flush of energy rushing through. And put that with the posture, you have a dynamic outcome. But you need to work at it too. You need to do your jobs as well. With the yoga, Linda, there's many different things. Standing, we learn to stand correctly. And of course, we have our lovely balancing poses. And if you're out of alignment in those, you're going to know about it because you're not balancing. So the balancing poses, they help to lift us and make sure that our alignment is there. We have the seated poses, we have the triangle poses. So they really do lengthen and strengthen. I keep saying that, but that's so important. And for a lot of people, they don't realise how strong a yogi can actually be. And once your muscles are strong, they support the skeletal body area, and therefore, if that is in alignment, then the muscles are more comfortable sitting around it, so to speak. And that's a great thing. There's simple things of drawing your knees up toward your chest, even sitting in a chair or on the floor. It's amazing the number of postures that we do. People will often say, I can't do a back bend. But in essence, that's what they need to be doing. But under the guise of a very, good and well-trained yoga studio. Because when we do a back bend, we're actually lengthening the sternum, lifting up and lengthening through. So we're actually stretching the back, not compressing it. And that's a great thing to be very aware of. You do not compress the lower back or hug the shoulders up and put compression into your neck, things like that. So again, another thing that we often see are people that stiff neck, they'll roll their head around and around. We think of that as a 1/16 of your body weight on the smallest vertebra, or one of the smallest vertebra. So we talk about doing it in the 4 quadrants, So you go back, you go forward, and you go to the sides, so that you're not putting all that pressure onto the vertebra.
And Pauline, what would be, with back pain, the best advice that our viewers could take away today?
There's many things, Linda, that can really help. Some of the best is to simply work with your mind and your breath. We're always saying that in the yoga. But gentle moves of, say, coming forward and just stretching, not arching, but stretching, that'll help to lengthen. Working with your tummy muscles to strengthen the muscles so you sit upright, standing up nice and straight. When you bend from the knees, breathe in to lift, breathe out to put down, because that makes everything lighter. When you're turning, don't sort of half bend and turn, make sure that you turn your feet to pick something up or to move. Don't swing on a straight spine. Those types of things really do help. And with your shoulders, you can do just a very gentle shoulder roll. We keep our elbows in and just work through the shoulders like that. They will all help. And of course, you go backwards. Your breath, your body movement, and your mindset, Linda, they're the three golden rules. It's amazing how such simple things can actually assist in the gentler, I'll say, back problems, not serious back problems, but the everyday back problem. So that'd be my advice to our viewers today.
Oh, lovely, Pauline. Thank you so much. And now we'll go to break. If there's any more information you'd like on Pauline Rooney and Yoga for Wellbeing, but specifically back pain, then please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au, and we'll be back after the break with another wonderful speaker. Stay tuned. After the break, health coach and author Kaveri Sekera is talking about food marketing. Welcome back, and for our next guest we have Kaveri Sekera, a certified health coach and author, and she's here today talking to us about food marketing. So welcome, Kaveri.
Thank you, Linda. It's great to be back.
Food marketing, Kaveri, what is the impact of food marketing?
Thank you, Linda. So we're actually subconsciously primed from a very young age when it comes to food. For example, when you think about Christmas, you think about Santa. You think about Santa. Children associate, Santa with pleasure because it's presents. Now Santa's colors are red and white. Now, can you think of another fizzy drink company that also uses red and white in their marketing? Now, that is a level of priming that we are used to without being aware from a very young age. I can give you another example. If you look at how food is marketed to us, low fat, skim milk, no fat. That's as soon as you go into the supermarket aisle, you look at these things and you think, okay, I'm trying to be more healthy, so maybe I should make one of these choices. It's right in front there. It's like really well advertised. It's colorful. But when you actually look at it, if you look at the back of the packaging, where the ingredients are for that particular item, you might actually find that there's so much of processed ingredients in that. There's sugar in that, which is hidden in different names. There's actually, are you aware that there's actually 65 names or more of sugar? So sugar may not, so you might think you're making a really good choice by making a low fat or no fat, but that's being replaced by processed food, or worse, with things like sugar and in its different names. So you might actually think you're making a healthy choice, but actually you're not. And that is one of the impacts of food marketing. So another example is when, say, you go to a restaurant. Have you ever actually wondered why in the restaurant they give you free bread as soon as you walk in? What happens with free bread is that it's got a lot of junk sugars. And when you actually eat it, your body actually gets more hungry, not less. Have you wondered why you're never full after eating like 3 of those pieces of bread? The reason is we're not getting our nourishment from that food. It is not nourishing. It actually makes you more hungry. What happens when you're more hungry? You're going to order more. And that is all part of the subconscious priming that we're conditioned to from a very young age. So it's really important that we're aware of it, and we are educated on how to make better decisions and vote with our money better.
And so why is it important to know these food industry of tactics, food marketing tactics?
As I said, it's really important that we educate ourselves and be informed about the very fact that just a couple of things that I've just mentioned to you. Because if you don't, you're going to go ahead and make those decisions thinking you're making a healthy decision, a healthy choice, but actually you're not doing anything positive for your health. In fact, it's probably more detrimental because it's so much away from the natural diet. So I have a great story. I have a woman in her 50s. I know a woman in her 50s, and she was morbidly overweight and very unhappy. had a lot of pain due to arthritis, and just basically lacked basic mobility that we would expect to have. Very unhappy with her quality of life, didn't have any energy, couldn't even go up and down her own stairs. And she learned a few of these food marketing tactics that I just shared with you, and overall changed her diet to a more natural human diet. And she released about like over 30 kilos, and she's now got she's moved like a spring chicken, and she basically has no pains, got rid of all her arthritis pains, and she's able to dance and do the things that she's passionate about. When I look at her socials, I'm like so happy for her, because she's just an overall happier, healthier person, and she can actually move up and down and live her life. Now that's what you want. That's how and those are some of the benefits of being aware of this and changing your buying behavior, knowing what you know now.
So Kaveri, how can we make better choices when we are shopping for food?
Great.
Some tips for our viewers.
Great. So the first thing that I would recommend in this topic is to get familiar with the ingredients on the item that you're buying. So I'm not talking about the nutritional information here, guys. I'm talking about the actual ingredients in the package that you're purchasing. Tomato ketchup is you would think has tomatoes in it, and in a couple of other ingredients, but the second largest ingredient in tomato ketchup is sugar. And we all know that sugar is addictive and causes cravings. So if I were you, I would look at buying an organic version of that which has no sugar, or even make your own. So ingredients, look at the ingredients and make better choices. You could get familiar with the 65 names of sugar. There's over 65 names of sugar. So you might actually think you're buying an item that has no sugar in it, but it just may not be called sugar in the ingredients list. It may be called fructose or maltose or corn syrup. All of those are names of sugar. And it's important. I would recommend that you get really familiar with that. Get familiar with the 65 names of sugar, and always check your ingredients on the item that you're purchasing. The other thing you could do is limit things which have got refined sugar in it. So if you know that particular item, so if you know there's soft drinks, or if you look at the ingredients of soft drinks, you'll find that just doing that, you will be like shocked at what all things have got added sugar in it. Things that you don't think, for example, pasta sauce might have added sugar in it. So get familiar with the ingredients in everything you buy. Understand what those 65 names of sugar are. You could also make better choices if you want sugar. I would recommend you have fruits, natural fruits in honey, and you meet your sugar craving from those products. Even things like grain have got a lot of junk sugars in it. So I would recommend reducing that as part of your diet as well, because that actually causes cravings as well. And dairy also is something that I recommend that you limit.
Well, thank you, Kaveri, for that. And for more information on Kaveri and food marketing, and also for that 65 names of sugar, then please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And for now, we'll leave it till next week and be back with more amazing guests.
If you would like to know more about our show, please like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.